For more than 5 centuries, warships have shaped the destiny of nations. They have carried explorers across unknown oceans, transported armies to distant continents, and unleashed destruction that decided the outcome of global wars. From towering wooden ships powered only by wind to nuclear-powered aircraft carriers capable of launching jet fighters across the horizon, the evolution of naval warships mirrors the evolution of human technology, industry, and military power. Control of the sea has always meant control of trade, territory, and influence. And throughout history, the design of warships has determined who held that control. In the 16th and 17th centuries, naval warfare was dominated by wooden sailing vessels. Great powers like Spain, Britain, France, and the Netherlands built massive warships known as galleons and later ships of the line. These floating fortresses carried dozens of cannons mounted along their sides. Battles at sea were fought in rigid formations called the line of battle, where ships sailed parallel to the enemy and unleashed devastating broadsides. Victory depended on discipline, seamanship, and the power of cannon fire. One of the most famous examples was the Battle of Trafalgar in 1805, where the British Royal Navy, under Admiral Horatio Nelson, defeated the combined fleets of France and Spain. Trafalgar secured British naval dominance for more than a century. But even at the height of their power, wooden warships had weaknesses. They were vulnerable to fire, dependent on wind, and limited in speed and maneuverability. The coming Industrial Revolution would transform them completely. By the early 19th century, steam engines began replacing sails. Warships were no longer prisoners of the wind. Steam-powered propellers allowed ships to move independently of weather conditions, increasing both speed and tactical flexibility. At the same time, advances in metallurgy introduced iron armor plating. The turning point came during the American Civil War in 1862, when two revolutionary ironclad ships, the USS Monitor and the CSS Virginia, faced each other in battle. Their armored hulls rendered traditional wooden ships nearly obsolete overnight. Cannonballs that would have shattered timber simply bounced off iron plating. Navies around the world immediately began redesigning their fleets. Wood gave way to iron and then to steel. Naval warfare had entered the industrial age. In 1906, another revolution occurred with the launch of HMS Dreadnought by the British Royal Navy. This battleship rendered all previous designs outdated. It featured an all-big-gun armament, meaning it carried only large-caliber guns capable of firing at long distances with greater accuracy. It was also powered by advanced steam turbines, making it faster than earlier battleships. The impact was immediate. Germany, the United States, Japan, and other powers rushed to build their own dreadnoughts, igniting a global naval arms race. These massive steel giants became symbols of national power. During World War I, fleets of dreadnoughts confronted one another in tense standoffs. The Battle of Jutland in 1916, the largest naval battle of the war, demonstrated both the destructive power and strategic caution surrounding these enormous ships. But even as battleships dominated the surface, a new threat was emerging from beneath the waves. Submarines introduced stealth into naval warfare. During World War I, German U-boats targeted Allied shipping in an effort to cut off supplies to Britain. Unlike battleships, submarines did not rely on direct confrontation. They struck unexpectedly, launching torpedoes before disappearing underwater. Their impact was so significant that unrestricted submarine warfare helped draw the United States into the conflict in 1917. By World War II, submarines had become even more advanced, playing a decisive role in the Battle of the Atlantic. Beneath the surface of the ocean, an invisible war was being fought, one that threatened entire nations through economic strangulation. Yet it was air power that would ultimately dethrone the battleship. World War II proved that aircraft carriers, not battleships, would dominate the seas. The attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941 demonstrated the devastating reach of carrier-based aircraft. Battles such as Midway in 1942 showed that opposing fleets could destroy each other without ever coming within sight. Planes launched from carriers became the primary offensive weapon of naval forces. Battleships, once considered the ultimate symbol of naval supremacy, were gradually relegated to secondary roles. Aircraft carriers, capable of projecting air power thousands of miles, became the new centerpiece of modern fleets. After World War II, the nuclear age transformed naval warfare once again. Nuclear-powered submarines, first introduced in the 1950s, could remain submerged for months without surfacing. They were no longer limited by diesel fuel or battery life. Even more significant was the development of ballistic missile submarines, capable of launching nuclear missiles from hidden positions beneath the ocean. These vessels became a cornerstone of Cold War deterrence strategy, forming part of the nuclear triad alongside land-based missiles and strategic bombers. At the same time, aircraft carriers grew larger and more powerful, launching jet aircraft equipped with advanced radar and missile systems. Naval fleets became floating extensions of global superpower rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union. In the modern era, warships have evolved into highly sophisticated combat systems. Guided missile destroyers, such as the U.S. Navy's Arleigh Burke class, integrate advanced radar arrays, vertical launch missile systems, and layered air defense capabilities. Stealth technology reduces radar signatures. Digital networks connect ships, aircraft, and satellites in real time. Modern naval warfare is no longer defined solely by armor thickness or gun size, but by information dominance, electronic warfare, and missile technology. Hypersonic weapons, autonomous drones, and cyber capabilities are reshaping the battlefield once again. Warships today are floating command centers, capable of defending against threats from air, sea, and space. From wooden hulls creaking in the wind to nuclear-powered giants patrolling the oceans, the evolution of naval warships reflects humanity's relentless pursuit of power and protection. Each technological leap, sails to steam, wood to steel, guns to aircraft, diesel to nuclear, has reshaped the balance of global power. Yet one truth remains constant across centuries of conflict. Nations that control the seas hold enormous strategic advantage. As new technologies emerge and the future of warfare continues to evolve, the oceans will remain a central arena of global competition, and the next generation of warships is already being designed.